We continue with this week's lesson, the public consultation process. Now, communicating with the media means that the media can help tell your story. The media can help enhance your reputation and credibility with your community. Accurate and comprehensive information must be provided to the media. Remember, the media is not your friend. The media is not a tool that you can use to your advantage. You want to seek out opportunities to approach the media with news and information. Every opportunity to get the correct and accurate information there and favorable information about your project is an advantage to your development. You want to be prepared to respond to the media inquiries. Remember, you want to leave no question unanswered. Now, as mentioned before, the media has a lot of power. The media can play a key role in shaping public policy and is often used by governments and special interest groups to advance, test, and modify public policy initiatives. So the media has a lot of power in terms of shaping public policy. Note, however, as mentioned before, that the media cannot be used as a promotional tool for an organization. Therefore, at all times, you must be truthful. That is always the best approach. Now, a successful media plan would be proactive. A proactive media relations program is a planned effort to earn media coverage in newspapers, magazine, radio, television, etc. It is not paid advertising. So when you have your different activities, you may find that this is an opportunity for you to invite the media, convince the media that what you're doing is important, and invite them to cover your event. You want to have your event accurately reported about your development. You want to emphasize the positive project contributions to the community, as well as your plan for being environmentally responsible. Remember, the community wants to know that they are going to benefit from your planned project, because this is what is going to determine community support and success for your project. You want to create key media contact lists for all the different media houses, so that they would be at hand and readily available when you need media coverage. Some types of proactive media activities will include background briefings. These are informal information sessions with the media outlets. They do not necessarily generate news right away, but what you're doing is you're providing context information, history of your project, and explanation in order to generate the support of the media outlets for your project. Other examples of proactive media activities involve editorial board briefings. So again, it's information you're providing. It provides on the record in-depth background information to newspaper editors. And the purpose of this activity is to build understanding and trust. And you're striving for balance in the coverage of your project. You don't want misinformation or heavy reliance on one perspective, etc. Other activities may involve the letter to the editor. This is an opportunity for the company to present its position in its own words in reaction to misinformation that has been put out into the public domain. Media briefings. These are less formal than news conferences, with a spokesperson provided by your organization or agency who would be available for interviews. You have media interviews, which would be one-on-one or with another guest or two. So you would have to provide key persons or point persons from your organization to speak on your behalf. You have media tours. These are similar to site tours. So the media can be invited to your development or an operating project in order to get first-hand experience. You have openings that the media can be invited to. So if you have a particular activity that's happening and you have a formal opening, the media can be invited. So you give them an opportunity to have exposure to what your project is all about, and also an opportunity for you to invite other key stakeholders such as government leaders and other stakeholders to the facility. We have opinion editorials. These are also for newspaper, where you can write a short article written by a company spokesperson, and this again is an opportunity for an authority on the issue to speak on behalf of your project. Additionally, you would want to have prepared in advance photos and DVDs providing information about your project and different activities. You would want to have these developed and available beforehand so that you can make it available to the media. It should be available in both print and electronic media. Follow-up is critical. Follow up with the media once you have provided a news release of any other type of information. You want to follow up to ensure that the important information that is covered in your news. Rather, you want to point out why it is important to cover your particular project. You want to convince the media that your particular development is very important information for your community. You want to point out the relevance of your story to your readers, listeners, or viewing audience. Coverage of your media, monitoring of your media coverage is also important. You want to track your media coverage to make sure that you are getting the kind of media coverage and the nature of it is within the objectives of your media plan. You want to determine if the coverage is positive, neutral, or negative. If you determine that the message, if you determine that your key message is coming out or is not coming out, monitoring is going to highlight this to you, that it may mean that this is a red flag. You need to make changes to your media strategy. Opposition. Addressing opposition. Now remember, there is always a likelihood that you will have opposition to your development, your proposed development. So developers must respect a community's right to closely examine and scrutinize your plans and to have questions and concerns. As mentioned before, questions that go unanswered can quickly turn from natural human curiosity to negativity and opposition. So it is critical to understand the specific concerns of your community. These unanswered questions can lead to opposition, which means you're not likely to get the kind of community support for your project that you need. So you want to get your facts organized before you start communicating with the public about your project. Hence the reason you have to do your information gathering up front. And recognize that people have a legal right to demonstrate their opposition to your development. And lastly, the way in which you deal with opposition can reflect positively on you and your project. You want to remain polite and calm and respectful at all times. You want to listen to their concerns, encourage them to learn the facts when they are calmer, because many times the opposition may be driven by lack of understanding or lack of information. So at this point, I thank you for joining me for today's lesson. Please proceed to the activities provided for this week.